Hello, it's the Coaster Craze, and today I'll be doing my predictions for all 11 Cedar Fair Amusement Park's 2018 attractions. I'm starting off my list with the smallest Cedar Fair park, Michigan's Adventure, and then working up. So, Michigan's Adventure, they usually don't get anything big, and I do not think they're going to get a new coaster next year, even though their last one was 10 years ago, and it was a relocated SLC. So it could be a little kiddie ride, like a little bit to like Planet Snoopy, even though they don't have Planet Snoopy, like a couple kiddie rides maybe. It could be a new restaurant. It could be a couple new shops, or absolutely nothing, as they did get nothing a couple years ago. So with Valleyfair, yes, it looks like their last coaster was in 2011, and that was a relocated kiddie coaster. But yes, they haven't really got any good coasters since Renegade in 2007. But they've been getting some decent additions. Like last year they got Starflyer, the year before they got Larson Flying Scooters. So I think this is the first year in a while where they're going to get a major thrill coaster. I think it's going to be the relocated Boomerang from Knott's. Because Knott's Berry Farm, the way they took apart Boomerang was like piece by piece, so it's definitely going to be relocated. And why wouldn't Cedar Fair just relocate it to one of their own parks instead of just selling it and then buying a new ride for Valleyfair? I think it just works and just makes sense. And Valleyfair, I think, is more likely than Michigan's Adventure because Michigan's Adventure is, well, Michigan's Adventure. So, Dorney Park's last coaster was Stinger back in 2012, which was relocated. I know it's been a while, but I do not think Dorney Park's going to get another roller coaster for at least until 2019 because they're getting slightly neglected. But their water park is excellent, so I could see Cedar Fair trying to continue expanding that, even though it's only been a couple years since they got Snake Pit. And maybe they'll get some cool new water slides, like maybe even a water coaster, kind of like how Six Flags Fiesta Texas did that this past year. But the most likely option is probably a Planet Snoopy expansion, like the one King's Dominion got in 2017, because Dorney Park hasn't expanded their kids area since 2011, 7 years ago. Yet another park that hasn't gotten a roller coaster in a while, actually since 2009 with Prowler. Worlds of Fun is very due for a new coaster, but they're probably going to get a water park expansion. So they just got Splash Island a couple years ago, which is like a play structure. So they probably won't get one, but some parks have multiple, so they could get like another like different type of play structure. And Cedar Fair recently has been doing lots of like water park makeovers, like with Cedar Point Shores. So I think there could be a rename from Oceans of Fun to a new name, and then also there could be there's probably going to be some new water slides since the last time we got a water slide complex was all the way back in 2013. Cedar Fair is giving a lot of attention to this California amusement park. Their last coaster was great, 2013 Gold Striker, and only 5 years later, they're probably going to get a new one. There's already plans for about a 110-foot tall coaster, and this makes perfect sense. They have teasers about blazing a new trail, Railblazer, probably the name since it was trademarked, and then like rail, like it's the single rail, so it's like blazing a new path, like it's innovative, it's the first of a kind, and it meets that requirement. Since Cedar Fair said they're going to get 4 new coasters, one of them a first of a kind, then I think it's about 60 miles per hour, judging by that 110-foot height. It might be like 55, but it's about that range. I think it's going to have some cool elements, probably a lot of banks, airtime hills, maybe about 3 inversions. That seems what a lot of RMCs have. So I think it's going to be an awesome new coaster, and is really going to complete the top 3 with Flight Deck, this, and Gold Striker at the park, and this is going to be turned to one of the best Cedar Fair parks soon. So it's literally confirmed that King's Dominion is going to be getting an RMC Hurler remake in 2018. It started with that teaser that said that Hurler was closed, but it was going to be like reborn in 2018. And there's literally RMC track on the coaster. There's all this new wood being added like every day. And there's a series of teasers that's going to be announced August 16th. And so, like, based on the teasers, it looks like it might have, like, a theme, like, to storms, like a hurricane or something. And then, like, how much taller it is, it looks like it's going to be about in that 115-foot range. It's going to have a lot of turns, probably a steep drop, and 3 inversions. So this is going to be an amazing ride, and will really give Kings Dominion a solid top 3 next year. So basically everybody agrees with me that Knott's Berry Farm is going to be getting the other Cedar Fair coaster, the one that's from a manufacturer that Cedar Fair used to work with. So all the manufacturers that Cedar Fair has worked with are either defunct now or they've worked with recently, except for Intamin, Gerstlauer, and Mack. Mack they haven't worked with since 2013 with Coast Rider, Knott's last coaster, Intamin since I-305 in 2010, and Gerstlauer just once with Spinning Dragons about 10 years ago. So I think it needs to be compact because it's replacing Boomerang. So I think it could be like a Gerstlauer Eurofighter / Infinity coaster. It could be a Mack launch looper that's like compact, or it could be a Mack spinning launch looper, or it could be like an Intimate Blitz-ish like looping coaster like Fahrenheit, or even like a compact Maverick or something. So I think there's a lot of great possibilities here, but it's probably gonna have some inversions, and it's gonna be a very intense compact ride. So Canada's Wonderland's last regular roller coaster is actually Leviathan, which is way back in 2012. Because Wonder Mountain's Guardian is like a mix of a dark ride and coaster. But nevertheless, I mean, 2012 is still more recent than some other parks. So I don't feel like they're due for a coaster until either 2019 or 2020. Then they should get a new coaster. But they haven't updated Planet Snoopy, or whatever their Snoopy area is called, since 2010. That's a long time. 8 years, that's a lot. So I think they'll get some big overhaul, like a lot of new rides. Maybe I think they have a second kids area, like called Kidsville or something. That's the one with that little Vekoma family inverted coaster. Maybe they combine them all into one big Snoopy area and get some more rides, like Kings of Mean did this year. Or just go for just a big overhaul and just make to focus on the kids for 1 year, because usually they're doing thrill rides. Since Carowinds' last roller coaster is pretty recently, I don't think they're going to be getting any new roller coaster this year. And when Cedar Fair said their 4 new coasters, none of them fit under like a B&M floorless remodeling, so I don't think they're counting this as a new roller coaster. So I think this is going to happen because, well, it just happened to the Vortex at California's Great America, and maybe they'll be called Patriot here too. It makes sense because this is their last stand-up in the chain, and Cedar Fair does not like stand-up coasters. They want to get rid of them, so why not do it sooner than later? This doesn't cost a ton of money. It's mostly just new trains, so I feel like this would be a good investment for Carowinds. Kings Island, the past couple of years, has focused on thrilling rides with Mystic Timbers, and the year before, some thrilling drop water slides. So I think family rides would be a great fit this next year. I've heard a lot of things saying about how they're going to get antique cars come to return to the park, and that would be a good idea. I think maybe like a Zamperla pipe coaster, kind of like what Cedar Point did and what Valleyfair did with their with their Route 76 section of the park. So I think there's a lot of possibilities there, and it'll just make the park a little bit more rounded. For my final park, I have Cedar Point, Cedar Fair's flagship park. Yes, it's only been 2 years since their last coaster, Valravin, but they're already pretty much confirmed to get RMC Mean Street in 2018. So, like, there could be the Ledge as the name because that's one of the trademark names, and it looked like Railblazer because that's kind of like a Western theme for their Frontier section. But that kind of looks like it's going to go to CGA, California's Great America. So the height, it's going to be about 200 feet, it looks like, because they're really steepening the lift hill. And that means it'll probably be about 70 miles per hour. It looks like it's going to be a long ride. I think it's going to be one track. I don't think it's going to be that dueling track thing. And it's probably going to be like super long with like 3 to 4 inversions. And it could be the best RMC. This could be even the best coaster at Cedar Point. So they are really looking up for next year.